Welcome to the Know, I'm Ashley Jenkins.
And I'm Gus Sorola.
If you're hoping to stay pure for Pokemon Sun and Moon, think again. The internet once again proves that it can ruin the simplest joys, like going into a video game without having the entire thing spoiled beforehand.
With just over 1 week to go before its release on November 18th, Pokemon Sun and Moon had its biggest leaks yet today, resulting in the game already being pirated and data mined before launch.
So that's like the final evolution of leaks, right? You can't get much leakier than that. When you combine this with the last few leaks, it seems like Sun and Moon's starter form is just a cartridge that's learned to upload itself to the internet.
Today's leak comes courtesy of a full retail version of the game hitting 4chan, which, as it turns out, is super effective for that kind of thing. People are now pirating Pokemon Sun and Moon, so now the only way to escape it will be by unplugging from the internet for the next 2 weeks.
Oh god, it is still a ways off.
Yeah, the game was being streamed on Twitch today. Various screenshots and plot synopsis started appearing on Imager and Reddit, and a data miner took it apart to reveal stats and movesets for all of the starters.
So this is the part where we give you guys the all-caps spoiler warning. We're not going to go into full details of every piece of information here, especially when it comes to the story, since that's the part that you'll want to discover for yourselves, but we are going to give a general overview of what's being circulated out there. Yes, Gus?
Pokemon has a story?
Yes, Pokemon has a story.
Okay.
Caden had to leave the room for this one because he's trying to stay pure.
Oh, that's why he left.
That's why he left. So if you're one of those people who want to keep their Pikachu squeaky clean heading into November 18th, although if you follow Nintendo at all, they've practically stripped the whole game for us. Anyway, this is your chance before we start giving out the information.
So you've now been officially warned, so 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, alright. The most interesting and accessible piece of information from today's leaks concerns the movesets and stats of the final evolutions of Pokemon Sun and Moon's 3 starters. Those are now public knowledge thanks to YouTube user Cafotics, who data mined the full game and released a series of videos giving a breakdown of just about everything there is to know.
For those keeping score at home, this is the same Cafotics who data mined the game's demo a couple weeks ago, revealing not only the entire Pokedex, but also the final evolutions of the starters. At the time, the leak found that there are more than 800 Pokemon available in Sun and Moon, which Nintendo confirmed shortly thereafter.
I think the best news of all that was the Mermaid Poplio. But back to the new data mine. In one of the videos released today, Cafotics breaks down all the moves and stats for the starter Pokemon Owlette, Poplio, and Litten. We won't do a deep dive into the actual numbers because that seems like it's going a bit hard, but the most interesting one for fans, of course, will be the stats of each Pokemon's final form.
And sorry for all of you Poplio lovers, but it seems like Owlette is coming out on top of this one.
No, Mermaid, you were the chosen one!
Owlette's final evolution, Decidueye, which will be available starting at level 34, seems like the most promising of the bunch, with stats balanced for making special and regular attacks with relatively high speed.
Meanwhile, Poplio's final evolution, Primarina, is a special defense and special attack powerhouse, but suffers from being, sadly, very slow. And slow seems to be the trend again with Incineroar, Litten's final form, who is the slowest of the bunch. However, Incineroar's attack is absurdly high to balance out that speed.
Having this information handy will no doubt change some people's plans heading into the game's release, with a number of people jumping ship from Team Litten or Poplio to declare their undying affection for Owlette, and I mean, let's be honest, he was always the most dapper of the bunch anyway.
He did keep it all together. For those who want just a little bit more specifics about the movesets and hard stats, Cafotics' video actually advises for some potential strategies and complementary rosters for each of them if you really feel like getting into the nitty-gritty of Pokemon cockfighting, so you can go nuts over his channel, and we will link that in the link dump.
Of course, no full leak of a game online is complete without rampant story spoilers, and Pokemon Sun and Moon is no different. We'll tiptoe around this some, I won't spoil it all here, but it seems that some fan theories about the game may have been confirmed thanks to new information showing up almost everywhere.
For one, there is a huge Imgur post going around with tons of screenshots of various new Pokemon, as well as some of the game's story all the way up to and including the final boss, which is a pretty big deal, so tread carefully if you're going to scroll through that one.
There was also a detailed breakdown of the game's events and progression posted over to Reddit in a now deleted post, but you can still get the idea by going through the comments there. Plus, it's no doubt been cross-posted by now too.
Yeah, we've seen it always is.
You can't delete anything off the internet.
Once it's there, it's there. We've seen some major leaks in video games before, but this is a pretty significant one to the point where some are concerned that it might actually affect Sun and Moon's sales. And so far, history hasn't really showed that to be the case. We brought it up in our last Pokemon leak story for the demo, but Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire had a similarly major data mine thanks to its demo. That game still managed to sell 3 million copies in its first 3 days and is now estimated over 11 million for physical sales alone. So
that's a lot.
It still manages to sell plenty of copies.
That's not quite as high as Pokemon X and Y's 14 or so million, but it's still the third highest selling game on 3DS. If there's any game that can weather this kind of huge breach, it's Pokemon. For the most part, it's going to be immune to this kind of information going out early because it's not exactly game-breaking to find out any of it early.
Instead, everyone will just pick the same starter. People generally don't play Pokemon for the story alone. It's all about the gameplay, and hearing about hard stats for monsters only encourages people to change how they approach the game rather than putting them off it altogether. So that's the good news for this leak. For the most part, we always know what to expect with Pokemon. It's sort of hard to sully the experience completely.
As for pirating, people were gonna do that anyway once the game was out, so it's doubtful it would affect sales more than piracy does in general. If anything, this might even add to the zeitgeist factor that the franchise is already enjoying thanks to Pokemon Go. People are data mining the shit out of that one too. And just from the discovery of Gen 2 Pokemon coming to the app in the near future, it's only drumming up more excitement rather than dampening it.
That's true, and a lot of people are looking at picking up Sun and Moon because they played Pokemon Go, and it's the first Pokemon they've played either ever or in ages, so a lot of those people probably aren't the pirating type. They're more the casual fans who will just buy it when it's available. So keep throwing your leaks, data mines, and spoilers at Pokemon. Not that you need our encouragement, because we all know you were going to do it anyway. It's still going to sell like hotcakes,
Hopefully.
if hotcakes sold.
What do you guys think of the even leakier leaks of Pokemon Sun and Moon? Who's grabbing the game next week? Let us know in the comments.
And which version? And which starter? You can tell us all the things. Share with your besties. And for future updates on all things Pokemon, like this video and subscribe to The Know. Pokemon's not a game where I care about being unspoiled going into it, because it is about actually playing it, but I respect that some people want to stay pure. Hence all our spoiler warnings in the story.
You should just flash all the spoilers before the spoiler warnings.
Right.
We should get Caden back here and just start screaming
Just
everything we
spoil
just read
at him.
at him. Yeah.